Good afternoon. Welcome back to Insured Families Fun Facts, Episode 5, Loss of Use Endorsement. This is one of the endorsements we probably get asked about the most, or you see on a lot of your Facebook posts or whatever, loss of use. We'll have insurers ask, hey, all I want's mortality in case my horse has to be put down or dies, and loss of use. I'm not worried about medical. Let's go over a little bit about the loss of use. To kind of help explain it, I think it's probably the most, not confusing, but the most misconstrued coverage out there. So, number one, all your carriers are going to be different. All the carriers we have, plus the carriers that our competitors may have as well, are all going to be different with loss of use. They're all going to have a minimum, that horse has to be valued at. That may be as low as $10,000, it may be $50,000, it may be $100,000. They're going to have maximums of what they'll cover those horses to. For instance, the carriers that's $100,000 minimum may be a $500,000 maximum. Those carriers that are $10,000 may be $100,000 maximum, and so on and so on. So there's several factors that you're going to have to get into. Let's look at a little bit of those for loss of use to kind of help you better understand what you would have to have. So if you come to us and you want a loss of use, so one, we have to have the mortality policy in place to be able to go forward. Then we have to have a medical surgical policy in place on that horse to be able to go forward. Once we get those and we're at minimum value on mortality, we have the medical and surgical endorsement, then we want to request that loss of use. So that loss of use is going to be at minimum value of what that specific carrier request or requires. You're going to have that medical and that surgical. Then we're going to apply to that loss of use. So you're going to get into what's that horse's job, what's that horse's discipline. So all of our carriers and most carriers are going to cover dressage. They're going to cover hunters, jumpers. They're going to cover cutters. They're going to cover reiners, and western. So those disciplines do have an available loss of use with the carriers that we have. So that kind of gives you an idea. So if you're out there, if you're a racehorse, I don't know of a carrier that's going to offer a loss of use for a racehorse. There may be some out there. None of ours do. But that kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking at into that is we've got to meet these prerequisites. That mortality at the minimum value, that medical and that surgical, and then we're going to have to be in the correct discipline. If all those apply, then we can apply for loss of use. Now, with that loss of use, I want to make sure you guys understand a few things, is that if you have $100,000 on your horse and you have a loss of use filed and it is termed permanently disabled or permanently unable to do its job, and there's a loss of use there. All right, what's going to happen depending on carrier, because again, all these carriers are so different in their loss of use endorsement. You may get 60% of that value, or it may be a 50% payout of that value, depending on that carrier. There's some that's 80. So let's say you have that particular instance, it happens, you've got a loss of use, they have awarded the claim. So some of our carriers will even do, okay, we're going to give you 50% value of that horse. So if you're at $100,000, what that means is they're going to give you a $50,000 check and you would retain your horse. We also have some carriers out there that will give you the 50 or an 80, and what that really means is we'll give you 50%, you'll keep ownership of the horse, or we'll give you 80% value and we'll take the horse. Now, or they could possibly take the horse. Now, does that happen? Sometimes possibly yeah, sometimes no. That's strictly up to the carrier, but they could assume ownership of the horse if they pay out the 80%. So, couple things there to look. Again, most people are really confused when they call us about a loss of use. That kind of gives you a few guidelines that you want to look at and go by to add the loss of use to your horse's policy. I do think loss of use is something that, especially in this performance horse world, that will continue to grow year after year. With the price of the horses in today's world, you go buy barrel horse or a head horse, you could be looking at anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000, $350,000. So definitely a large investment for you and I on a day-to-day basis. So what my recommendation would be with you guys is, if you're interested in the loss of use, give me a call. Let me go over it with you, because at the end of the day, what we really do on a case-by-case basis is we sit down and look at that horse and that insured, and we try to put a pencil to it and say, okay, is this going to be in our best interest to add the loss of use, or is it in our best interest to self-insure that loss of use? So that's really the question we got to get to, which comes down to insurance really, which is transfer of risk to that carrier from our individual self. So my recommendation, again, give us a call. If you have any questions, we're here to help anybody we can. We feel like everybody out here, not only in our insurers, but in the horse industry, Western industry, are family to us, and that's the way we feel. I hope these videos have helped you. We've certainly enjoyed doing them this week. We look forward to putting out more in some of our other lines of business. Now, we will be tomorrow a lunch and learn, or live at lunch, if you will, that we're going to do, where we'll kind of recap what we've done on the equine, mortality, all the endorsements from surgical, colic, medical on into the stallion AS&D, Profole, and the loss of use endorsements. And if you guys have any questions, we'll try to answer those on that live. Go out. If you've enjoyed, hit the like, the share, and the follow. Get it out there. Let's try to help educate as many as we can in our industry about equine insurance to better protect and serve our equine friends. If you have questions, give us a call here at the office, 662-263-3154. You can shoot us an email, contact@insured, that's INSURED -family.com. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the channels. You're welcome to look us up, shoot us a message there. And as always, you can go to our website, www.insured-family.com. Thank you for being a part of our family, and we look forward to talking to you more in the future. Thank you.